Well, hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Cloud Foundry Weekly. Today, we are joined by our friends from the Cloud Foundry Foundation. We have Chris and Ram here. And we wanted to give you kind of a preview on one of the best events of the year for Cloud Foundry Day content and kind of give just general updates around the ecosystem as well. And as you can see here, our dear friend Nikki couldn't make the show today. Very busy if traveling, but we'll go on and without him here and go from here. So, and I guess if you haven't heard, Cloud Foundry Day Europe is in 1 week, 4 days, 15 hours, 54 minutes away from today. So, let's talk about that. Ram, Chris, thank you for joining the show. I hope to see you all in Germany, and I can't wait for another Cloud Foundry Day in Europe, so to speak.
Thanks, Nick. Good to be here, and really looking forward to Cloud Foundry Day in Frankfurt in less than 2 weeks. It's going to be Tuesday, October 7th. So when I first got hired at the Cloud Foundry Foundation in 2016, the first Cloud Foundry Summit I went to was in Frankfurt. And I had just been hired 2 months earlier. And Chip, my boss, was like, yeah, just go to lots of talks. I didn't even have any responsibilities. It was great. So anyway, it's nice 9 years later to be coming full circle back to Frankfurt. And our last 2 years, we had Cloud Foundry Day in Heidelberg 2 years ago, and in Karlsruhe last year, all sort of in that region in Germany, and they both, sold out more or less in person. And I think we're tracking to do the same here. So if you haven't registered for the event, I would encourage you to. I think we're at 150 right now, and I think the cap is 200. So I do expect it to sell out in person. So for anyone that hasn't registered yet, you should do that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of our friends in the Tanzu ecosystem and customers have registered already, and we're planning to hang out with them and catch up. So yeah, I love to see the event sold out. The especially within the Europe format, the days are just jam packed and really energetic, and lots of great speakers here. So looking forward to that. Ram, how have you been? And what do you? I know you have a lot of kind of purview into different parts of the ecosystem. What's really piquing your interest on the schedule from a session perspective, or what are you looking forward to most?
Hey Nick, thanks for having me. I think this edition is very special because, as far as I can tell, every important project that's part of the foundation and every important project that's important to the ecosystem is represented in the form of a talk. I'm happy about the overall diversity. The Linux Foundation does pay a lot of attention to gender diversity and other things in terms of selecting speakers and giving people an opportunity to present. But what I also like in terms of diversity that we have this time is how various organizations who are members, who are sponsors, who are part of the ecosystem are all, going to get an opportunity to present one. The next thing is, like I said, every project that I can think of is going to be represented on stage. So that's CF on VMs, the classic Cloud Foundry Bosch experience, CF on K8s, which is Cloud Foundry Corifi, which covers the sort of cloud native and Kubernetes ecosystem. BuildPacks has presence on the stage, as does Concourse, which is the newest addition to the Cloud Foundry Foundation family. So all of these projects represented, in its full glory through the experiences that are a part of various organizations, and that's what makes me really happy in terms of helping put the show up.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think even for we had a pretty good sponsor list too as well. I know I think that's always great to see is that companies investing within the CFF to help host this event and to get more people there and kind of get that more diverse background within the ecosystem. So really great to see that.
Yeah, this is the most successful sponsorship round we've had for any of the CF days. So we've got 4 proper sponsors: VMware Tanzu, SAP, Any9s, and Stackit. Our friends at 520 are sponsoring the lanyards. Maybe I'm forgetting something else. Maybe there's another add-on or something like that. But anyway, we've got 4 proper sponsors, which is great. That's the most sponsorship we've had for these last couple of years when we've been doing these one-off CF days. So it's a really good trend, and really helps us promote and support it financially. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this event.
Well, I think it's good to see too, as we continue really to see growth in this area, and I think that kind of tracks with something that we've been seeing too, with like this age of AI, that the concept of a PaaS is becoming more and more relevant, or it's like immediately relevant again, where folks are really just focusing on how to simply get apps running in production quickly, and kind of worry less and less about some of the other tech stacks and things. So it's good to see that from the community, and see those contributions be recognized as well. Let's see here. From a session side, we will be live. This show will be live, closing out the show per se, and we're working on getting some guest speakers as well. So if you're listening and you're interested, you should reach out, and we can see what we could do. So I'm totally excited about that. Obviously, there's some other talks too. Like I think Ram, you have a talk about kind of sharing the Concourse story. So what do you have? You want to enlighten the audience a little preview what you have planned there?
So to a lot of folks, Concourse might not be new, but in terms of like end user adoption and things like that, what I aim to highlight is how Concourse can operate at scale, and it brings a lot of value to Cloud Foundry behind the scenes, which can also be true for you as an organization that manages several software development streams that braid into production and do something useful. So there's a thing about Concourse that once you get used to it, it's very hard to try and enjoy other tools in the same space. So it's kind of like having this cult following in terms of movies and comics and things like that. And speaking of Concourse, always gives me that impression. So and then so I had to include that. And then there's a third sort of dimension in terms of how a lot of the features play in well into what you need as a CI system, and how a lot of people swear by Jenkins even in this day and age. And Concourse can go head to head, and it's got the feature parity with the Jenkins of old and the Argo of new, and Concourse has a little bit to offer, irrespective of which part of the CI spectrum you belong to. So I just wanted to highlight these 3 stories as best as I can.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it, and I know Concourse is used quite heavily here within the Broadcom VMware Tanzu landscape within our customers. So it's great to see that. And I think we may have covered this in earlier shows. I don't think officially on the show, but Concourse was donated to the Cloud Foundry Foundation? Am I getting that right? Is that an official project?
It's the newest project under the Cloud Foundry Foundation, donated by VMware Tanzu, and that just sort of makes sense. I mean, it's been coupled somewhat tightly with the Cloud Foundry ecosystem for a long time, and it's great to have that under the foundation. So it's been open source under Pivotal, VMware, Broadcom for forever, but it's nice to have it under the foundation now. We were really excited to get that contribution.
Awesome. And then I assume we have a new working group for it, and that's tracking well and things like that.
Yeah, and this actually just got finalized recently. It's sometimes it takes a little while with when to have a contribution, goes through lots of lawyers, and there's project formation things and stuff like that, and legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was just finalized, I think, last week, actually. Even
Awesome.
though, it was donated earlier in the year, but like we just actually crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's like last week. So,
well, that's celebration enough. All the papers are done, right? And all the paperwork's finalized, right? Yeah, and I guess with some of this open source technology, you wouldn't think there'd be a lot of bureaucracy and things, but there's always room for bureaucracy in pretty much every aspect of life, right? So I guess it is what it is. Awesome. Rob, do you have any or Chris, even, do you have any other sessions that we that you want to kind of call or highlight what's going on, or what you want to share with the audience to get more people interested in joining the CFT?
I'm looking at it now because I haven't looked at it in a few weeks. Like, we put together the schedule with the program committee. Thanks, everyone on the program committee. It's a really good lineup. We are, of course, closing out with Cloud Foundry weekly, as we've done for the last couple. So that's going to be fun. A bunch of talks from Stack It. We got Cote in there. Kicking things off with a talk from Christian Brinker, who works at the Bundeskriminalamt. Might have butchered that, but anyway, it's sort of the equivalent of the German FBI. Cool end user story there.
Very cool.
Talking about security and compliance. So it's a great lineup. I don't know, Ram, any specific talks you want to highlight?
You mean besides the Cloud Foundry weekly?
That's
become a tradition, and I've really come to love how there's a slot reserved for doing that stuff at the end of the day, and it always comes in at a point when nobody's ready to listen to a talk anymore, because it's just been talks all day. But it's besides that, Kote is always a big draw. He brings a lot of people together with his ideas and some of his action items for what to do in the future. I'm really looking forward to seeing Josh Long in person for the first time. I've been like a huge Spring. I was into Spring and Hibernate and all that back in the day when I was an actual programmer. And he's massive in the Spring ecosystem, and I'm really looking forward to hosting him at Cloud Foundry Day. And there's also a talk by the Syntasso folks, and the thing you were alluding to earlier, Nick, about platforms and PaaS and all that. There's a lot of people in the cloud native space that work on platforms and platform engineering. And there's a lot of people that are now in the AI ML platform space as well. And one thing I really love to check is if they have a pivotal pedigree. And that's so true of so many platform engineers out there. I don't know, people just seem to love to continue to hack away at cloud platforms once they've been a pivotal, or once they've been a pivot, I guess. So Paula is a pivot, an ex-pivot, and so she now has a company that's working on some cloud native platforms. And it's nice to see all of these people continue to orbit around the ecosystem, continue to share ideas with us, draw a lot of ideas and inspiration from what we do as an ecosystem. And I'm really looking forward to that talk as well. So her talk is titled From Cloud Foundry to Cloud Native. So I think she's going to draw on her experiences both from her pivotal days and what she's now doing for cloud platforms in the cloud native space. And so I'm really looking forward to all these. And special mention to Ruben's talk, where he's going to talk from the perspective of a maintainer and a TOC member about how AI is starting to impact contributions. So for us in the open source ecosystem, on the governance and the maintenance side of things, it's about monitoring contributions. It's about watching these AI agents start to take on maybe some of the things that we should do. Although I'm not necessarily at risk of losing my job to AI. But there's really some governance workflows that can, become agentic and AI dependent, and that will really ease the pain for a lot of the stuff that we go through. And Ruben's bringing some of those ideas on the stage. So I don't know if I've mentioned every single talk. I mean, there's really a lot I'm looking forward to, but these half a dozen really come to mind.
Yeah, I think it's a good blend of technical and project oriented work with also you try to bring in some of the how all this work correlates into the end user and the customer. So I think it's a good blend of that. And I definitely didn't want to give a shout out to Maurice Brinkman Sessions. He's with Stackit, and looks like they're cooking up some new stuff within the Bosch, and maybe even a new Bosch CPI. Nikki and I had the privilege of wandering the streets of Karlsruhe last year with Maurice, and we had some pretty good times. So I'm interested to see what he's been working on, and I know it's great to see kind of new life within the ecosystem, and see what they have going on as well.
Yeah, I mean, also I noticed that Maurice actually has 3 talks.
Yeah.
So he gets a prize for that. I think he's the winner there. I don't think there's any other speakers that have 3 separate talks accepted. One on AI build packs, one on their new CPI that he's giving with Wayne from 520, and then a talk on Karifi as well. But yeah, Stackit, relatively new company in the Cloud Foundry ecosystem, but they're sponsoring the event, and Maurice is all over the schedule. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think if you're listening and you're watching it and you haven't already signed up for it, you should just go ahead and sign up for Cloud Foundry Day. But I think we got a pretty good preview. I'm even more excited about going and dealing with the 10+ hour flight there and back. But it's gonna be well worth it. And happy to see some friends and connect with the community. Now, I guess the other with you're both here, so we got to get updates and news from within the Cloud Foundry ecosystem. I can't remember when we had you on last. It's probably been at least 6 months, probably if not a little bit more. But within the past 6 months to let's say a year, like what are your kind of what have you been seeing within the Cloud Foundry ecosystem? Any new projects you want to call out? Any contributions? Like how are things look like? Let's call it like the CFF health check, so to speak. How are things looking? What do you want to call out for that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned Concourse being contributed, which is great. Love to have that. It makes sense, and it's a sort of a separate having a CI/CD tool in this ecosystem that's part of the foundation is great. And as we've mentioned, it's a really powerful, user-friendly CI/CD pipeline tool. Love to see that Stratos has been revived from an archive project back to an active project, and love to see the progress being made on that. I've got some updates for not that exciting stuff like cost optimization updates. I'll skip those, but we're working on our trimming things up so that the Cloud Foundry Foundation is financially healthy, and so we're trimming some GCP spend by purchasing some CUDs, but that's not that exciting for the general viewers. So Ram, any other
about
updates?
I think about half of the stuff that we do is just run-of-the-mill thing. So we just updated like stem cells to Jammy, and now we've started investigation, or rather the community has started investigation on Nobel migration and those LTS support kind of things. And like Chris was mentioning, a bunch of cost optimization and cleanup stuff, and a lot of it is that. But there's also like an RFC has been out for I think a little over 6 months about moving to the cloud native build packs for Bosch based Cloud Foundry as well. So we're starting to really put our weight behind build packs as a technology within the community. And when I say build packs, I mean cloud native build packs. And so the community has been hard at work investigating a path towards more general adoption of cloud native build packs, as opposed to like the V2 build packs that we have right now. And
Right.
so I think that's pretty exciting in terms of, having ownership of Paketo as a project, but also trying to incorporate that into like mainstream Cloud Foundry.
Right. And I guess for those listening who may, and I get this confused sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong. So, the Cloud Foundry for VMs, shipped with Build Packs V2. The Cloud Native Build Packs are somehow, commonly referred to as Build Packs V3 came out. And then Paketo Build Packs are actually an implementation of the Cloud Foundry or Cloud Native Build Packs, or the Build Packs V3, right?
Yeah, you could use Paketo and V3 build packs sort of interchangeably.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah. Let's leave the specification out for now.
Yeah. Well, it's just we get that V2 versus V3 question sometimes, and it's like just trying to play it all out, and then I guess the move would be now everything would be common on V3 or the next generation of build pack, so it'd be kind of that common stack across like Karifi or CF or VMs or just general build pack consumption, right? Very cool.
And that reminds me, we're going to be at KubeCon, of course. That's coming right up. So in the second week of November, we'll be at KubeCon Atlanta, and we'll be talking a lot about Paketo build packs.
Nice.
And also just your traditional Cloud Foundry as well, singing the praises there. For simplifying folks' workloads in the wider Kube ecosystem. But we'll of course be like heavily focused on build packs there, as that's really getting a lot of traction in the wider Kubernetes ecosystem.
Yeah. So if you can't make the CF Day in Europe, just around the corner, if you're in the States, go to KubeCon. You should definitely check out I'm assuming you have a booth within the vendor hall.
We'll have a booth. Ram, you'll be there. I'll be commuting. I won't be traveling for that event because it's just in town for me.
Nice.
So really looking forward to that. We will have a booth on the floor at KubeCon, and that's always a good time. And I know our friends at VMware and NE9s and SAP will all be there as well. It should be, as it always is, kind of a zoo, but a benevolent zoo. And looking forward to that too. I mean, right now we've got Cloud Foundry Day, but just a month later, we'll be in Atlanta for KubeCon.
Yeah, very cool. And then I do like how the KubeCons kind of migrate across at least within the States, across the country, and they migrate within different areas within Europe as well. So it's kind of nice to see a different city every year, type of thing. And I guess even nicer if you live in the city where it's going to be, right?
It's particularly convenient for me this year because I'm going to an event in Switzerland the week before and a conference in St. Louis the week after. So I would probably, and also my wife and child would be a bit miffed if I had 3 travel weeks in a row. So very grateful that KubeCon is in Atlanta this year.
It's going to be KubeCon's going to be a recharge week to fly out, right? Very, very busy time that time of year for sure. All right. Well, I guess let's see. Any other updates that you want to share? I know the timing might be a little tight for you both, so we don't have to go the full hour if you got to hop on and go somewhere else. But any other project updates or kind of community updates to share with the audience?
No, in general, I mean, I think Karifi and the Karifi community is hard at work bringing parity with Cloud Foundry. So there's a lot of work going on in terms of, can we start to see apps that can rebase to CF Linux FS4, for example, and work to bring in all of the security groups, for example, that are already available and make that available on Karifi. So if you're interested in sort of that kind of work where you're bringing parity to Karifi and Cloud Foundry on VMs and the whole Bosch world, then I highly encourage you to check out the work that's going on there. It's it could always do with a few more contributors
Mm-hmm.
than what it has. And the build pack stuff is pushing along, and Bosch is like very stable machinery that you can trust, and it's got its own sort of pipelines around it. But every time I get a chance, I just like to push Korefi a little bit. And so if there's folks out there who enjoy working with Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry, there's a nice niche space to make a mark for yourself.
Yeah, I think our friend Deshaun, I saw a blog recently with him last week. I would say he got the latest version of Karifi running on his Raspberry Pi, so
Yep.
he's always on the the cutting edge or edge scenarios. So it's always fun to see what he's cooking up. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's how small can you make Cloud Foundry? What can you put it on? AKA Raspberry Pi is always interesting to see, especially when you compare to some of the largest installs and just ginormous infrastructure at some of these companies that run it for traditional CFF VMs. The
Yeah, I mean,
differences, right?
yeah, Korefi has really evolved into something very agile at this point. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I joined the foundation about 5 years ago, there was CF for Gates, which was touted as, oh, you can now install it on a laptop, or you can install it for cheap on the cloud. You just need 5 VMs. And I was like, 5 VMs? It was the first time I heard of it. And
Yeah.
then it was I sort of got schooled the hard way, saying, "Hey, Bosch requires like 50, so this is like an order of magnitude smaller, and that's why the community is excited about it." And I was like, "Okay, I see." And you know,
It's
so
still five too many, right? Yeah.
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 And then to watch that become more smaller in terms of the footprint, and get going on a laptop, on a kind cluster, on K3s and all that, was
Mm.
very exciting for me. And now I'm investigating if it can work with some of these other tools in the CNCF ecosystem. So I love discovering new CNCF tools and trying to sort of put them into the Korefi experience and see which ones complement very well. And I've had tremendous success with like OpenCost, for example. It
Mm-hmm.
tells me exactly how much a build will cost, because OpenCost can measure cost in terms of pods, and Korefi spins up a pod every time you want to run a build. And so the combination of these two tools will give me, okay, this build will cost someone 17 cents on a particular
Wow.
piece of cloud infrastructure. So in that same vein, I was able to try stuff like Headlamp, which is like a UI over Kubernetes. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously Stratos is my UI of love, but since the V3 API doesn't quite have complete support, I tried Headlamp, and it worked extremely well. For a Kubernetes or a CNCF based project, working with Korefi, and gave me visibility into all the stuff that was running, for example. And I could visualize the whole life cycle of stuff running on Korefi. And then more recently, I got the opportunity to toy around with like K0s and Cordent, which are like two CNCF projects that basically are a very small Kubernetes cluster. So I was able to get like
Mm-hmm.
Korefi running on K3s a long time ago. And then I saw K0s emerge, and I had to try it out, and it was fairly straightforward. But then I think the power of what that project is more about Cordent, which is like you now manage fleets of Kubernetes clusters.
Mm-hmm.
And so their idea is you don't have to necessarily migrate every single cluster on your own. So they go back really deep into this old analogy of keep your server like cattle, not like pets. And so right now, everybody had to manage their Kubernetes clusters, whereas Cordon gives you a control plane to manage fleets. And so Korefi can become a part of that,
Mm-hmm.
because it essentially installs using a Helm chart. And so Cordant manages all of the apps that are required to live on a cluster using various Helm charts, and it will maintain the parity that is required. So if you spin up a new cluster, for example, it'll install all of these items on that new cluster, and so all of these clusters can be managed through Cordant. And so once you slap Korefi on there, then there's these two very distinct layers that you get, where Cordant manages everything infrastructure up and puts your platform and makes it available, and then Koryphi manages everything platform upwards, which is all of the applications, and the app lifecycle is managed using Koryphi. So lots of interesting stuff in terms of how you can create new interplay among emerging and existing CNCF projects with Koryphi. So again, one very interesting area to explore, and stuff that I'm publishing about and experimenting as we speak.
Oh, very cool. Well, I'll keep track of your socials and see what you cook up next. I mean, thank you both for coming. Do you have any closing thoughts for the audience other than register for Cloud Foundry Day Europe? Right?
No, nothing at the moment. Just register for CFD EU. If not, try and make it to the at KubeCon Atlanta. If not, continue to enjoy Cloud Foundry Weekly and get all of the fun updates from the ecosystem and the community.
Yeah, you should definitely like and subscribe to our channel, and get notifications of when we release new content for sure. And I have a like and subscribe pillow, but I misplaced it, or it's too far away from camera. So I usually this is the time where I bring out the pillow and like the shameless plug, like and subscribe. So this is the second week in the row where I don't have the pillow. So I've really broken the flow. I don't know what's going on with me. I failed at life. But yes, thank you both for being on the show today. Looking forward to see you in Frankfurt in little less than 2 weeks, and we'll go from there. And we'll sign off with our traditional CF bye here. So
CF bye.
CF bye.
CF bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Nick.
Yeah, anytime.
See you in Frankfurt.
Yeah.